24 months. That's how long we've been on the market now. May was our 2-year anniversary since we've launched, and lo and behold, it was actually also our crappiest month that we've had on record. So that's really something to just sit back and cherish, and really makes you reflect upon who it is you are and what you're doing with your life, and really why you're doing it. Because most people walking by or watching these videos are probably like, this guy is an absolute moron. But if you can learn from my stupidity, then at least some good is accomplished, I guess. So to recap, for those of you that have not been watching these videos, what happened, May saw us get hacked in the middle of getting ready for GDPR, which was the most comical sense of irony I think I've ever seen in my life. And although I say get hacked, I want to clarify, no user data was compromised. What happened was somebody set up an account that they were using a bot to log in and send out emails from our invite feature, which was essentially getting them free advertising because we didn't have a limit on how many people you could invite to projects. So somebody exploited that loophole, and we consequently had to close it. So that was something where somebody took advantage, and unfortunately it kind of has an effect on everybody else now, but I think it's still fine. But that was a fun thing to deal with. Then also last month, our revenue actually decreased month over month, which was the first time that had happened in probably 7 or 8 months. 7 months? It's probably 7 months. Don't quote me on that. And so that is something in the SaaS world, or in the software as a service world, again, is something to make you take stock of what you're doing and how crappy you are and how terrible everything you do is. And just reflect upon that, bask in it if you can, and absorb it into your pores, and develop your own response to that situation. So I think we're developing a response, and we will know if it's the correct one here soon. So and I'm going to save what that response was for a little later when we actually get to the good things, and there are finally good things, right? But anyways, so that was an interesting thing that we didn't expect to happen. We were actually expecting to do a celebratory video for May, because we were supposed to hit a revenue milestone in this software world, and we thought it was going to be easily achievable, but again, tricky fate, and obviously it didn't happen. So anyways, and then to top it all off, the cherry on top, if you will, is I lost my co-founder. So my co-founder and I are no longer working together. So the confluence of factors here just coming together to create this shitstorm is overwhelming, I think, for it would be overwhelming for most people. It was overwhelming for me. So I would assume most people would be overwhelmed with the degree of negativity and just everything going wrong possible, it seems, at least. Because obviously when those types of things start to happen, you start to realize, or you start to think, or get in a negative headspace, or at least I do, where obviously nothing that you've ever done is amounts to anything, and you are just the biggest piece of crap on the planet. And getting out of that sort of headspace is important, because it's not going to be productive for you. It's not going to help you get forward, move the ball forward rather for the business. And so that's a lot of stuff to battle through for a single month, I think. Or maybe I'm just weak-minded, and that's not enough. And there's plenty of people out there that could probably give me crazier stories, which I'm sure there are. But nonetheless, it's still not a promising thing, or an optimistic, happy thing to go through. So that is something that has had an effect on me. I will say this with regard to losing the co-founder, though, because this has kind of been in the works a little bit, but now it's official. But if you'd watched some of the previous videos, you'd see that my co-founder and I were kind of separating ways slowly. And so in the time between that happening and us actually deciding not to work together anymore, I was looking for people to potentially fill his place. And so one of the things that I've noticed is how people, I keep finding myself in the same types of situations where similar red flags are popping up for other partnerships that I've had that have failed. And I've had a couple now that I think I'm starting to learn, finally. It takes me a little bit. So when these red flags pop up, I don't explain them away or say, yeah, but they're so excited, or yeah, but they can do what I need them to do, or some justification. I pay attention to it. I sit back and say, okay, is that something substantial, or is this something I should worry about or not? And one of the things that I want to point out, because I don't think it's as apparent, is that when you are talking to people that potentially are going to join your venture or get involved with you to start a company, if they're not willing to go fully in to the project or into the company with all of their time and effort, that's a red flag. I'm sure you could bring up plenty of circumstances where it's worked for people, but I think as far as if you're dealing with somebody who's going to be a co-founder type person, they might like what you're doing, but actions speak louder than words. And if they're not willing to take a risk and take a bet on actually making the company successful, or as successful as it can possibly be, which requires all your time and effort, then they don't really believe in it that much. They are hedging their bets. They're kind of sitting back saying, I'll do a little work, or it's not really. We have a really weird ability to underestimate how much work things take, or at least I do, and the people that I've surrounded myself with tend to display that characteristic occasionally as well. And the not going all in is to me something that right there tells me that there's a disconnect between what you're saying and how excited you are, and what you're going to do about it, or how you're going to conduct yourself as a result. When there's a disconnect there, that's important. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people just underestimate how much effort a startup takes, or maybe the people are just around me. I keep attracting these situations, so maybe it's me. And so that's I've had a couple of conversations that raised red flags in that way. Also, again, kind of coming back to the red flags that pop up that are maybe less apparent. If they are really enthusiastic about something based on a couple conversations that you've had, and they know the general idea, but they really don't know much beyond the general idea and maybe like the kind of broader vision. If they don't know much more than that, and they're already willing and just telling you that they want to jump in and get involved, that is a sign of complete novice level of entrepreneurship, I think, because there are so many other parts to making a partnership work and a business work, and this is somebody you're going to be spending a lot of time with and working very hard with, and when at least when I first got involved in the startup world, I was starry-eyed, and there's so much possibility, and the potential is endless, and it's exciting. But the thing is though is that you don't know what you don't know, and ideas are exciting at first, but once you get into the day-to-day of grinding out 10, 12-hour days for 6-7 days a week, multiple weeks on end, months on end, years on end, that excitement wanes over time. It fades, and you need other things to get you excited. You need customers, or signups, or whatever your metric is, or your KPI that drives the business forward for you. That's what results are going to be what actually gets you excited later on. And if you don't have those, then that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a huge problem, because the initial excitement's not enough to jump into bed with someone and start a partnership. And that's my long-winded way of saying, look out for people that want to get involved too soon without knowing enough about the business, how it operates, how you work, right? How you work is important. What your level of expectation is with regard to how hard they work, and how they spend their time, their level of their domain expertise, and the responsibilities with regard to the company. I mean, there's so many things. Anyways, so that the looking for people that at least are approaching partnerships a little more skeptically, and sit back and probe you with questions, and try people that would try and figure out why it's not going to work. I think those are the best people probably to investigate further as far as a potential working relationship. But people that just want to jump right in, that's bad. And then also there's people, again, maybe it's me, that'll just run towards you saying that they can help, And, for instance, one of the conversations I'm thinking about is somebody was like, oh yeah, like I know somebody, and then they start, we jump on a call, we start talking about what, the company needs and what I need. And lo and behold, halfway through the conversation, I'm like, this seems weird. It seems like he's like kind of pitching like some sort of service to me, but he's not saying that, and it's not very straightforward. And I look at his LinkedIn, it's like, oh, you run a dev agency, so you want to give us developers for agency rates, and that's not what I was asking for, is it? And you now have wasted my time and yours, because now I'm kind of pissed off that you're not being upfront about your intentions, because you didn't really want to help. What you wanted to do was line your own pockets with some tiny startup and a founder that might not know any better, because he might be scrambling at the moment trying to find a solution for his lack of a co-founder, which I'm not. But that seemed to be the rub on how that took place. And so the biggest indication that somebody actually wants to help is going to be that they actually do the work without you having to ask them to. If they're really that excited about what you're doing, they will take some initiative and take the ball, run with it, accomplish something, whether it's just the beginning stages of a partnership, or just feeling out, potentially developing a list of new customers or people that you can target. I mean, just doing something, like actually taking the initiative to do something. I think that right there is something that I've not seen, and I would really like to see. If somebody was actually going to tell me that they were really interested and really wanted to help, that's how I'd know they'd actually want to help. Not just having a coffee and talking about how exciting the opportunity is, or how cool what you're doing is, or whatever. Taking the initiative. Remember that. I think that's important. And until I see somebody do something like that, I'm probably not going to concern myself with even just entertaining the idea, I guess, of a partnership with any person like that, or even early hires. So that's my rambling rant on that. Hopefully there was something worthwhile for you in there. But now that we're dragging this out, I guess, we're going to end with some good things. So some good things actually happened over this past month of total crap. And so there was gems, there was diamonds in the crap. I don't know why I keep going with this analogy, but whatever. Anyways, so the good things were we published a blog post, which you might think is insignificant, and you'd be justified in thinking that. But for me, it's quite a process to get these blog posts out. Good deal of research. I actually try and make them quality, articles that people would maybe want to read about financial topics, which most of the content people don't, as far as financial topics, because they're dry as hell. And so, there takes a little bit of crafting and research and all that. So I got a blog post out, and for us, most of our traffic is driven through SEO, organic channels, and so this helps our main marketing channel at the moment. So I'm hoping this will have some long-term benefits as a result of publishing. And then, so that was good. That was a step forward in the right direction, charging through the storm there, if you will. I don't know why I did that, but I imagine that's what you do when you're charging. Anyways, the next beneficial thing, or good thing, is that we also launched a services offering. So this is a departure from my previous, I guess, just not philosophy, but what I wanted to do, because I don't like services businesses. The first business I tried to start myself was a services business, and it's a grind. It's not my particular cup of tea, because of, I'm not going to get into why. I can get into that if somebody's interested at a later video, but not my particular cup of tea. So I kind of view it as a step backward, away from the product. Less time, obviously, being able to refine the product and do, at least do marketing or customer service or really anything else. So it's like taking on another job, essentially. So, but I think it's a good thing, and we've already gotten a new customer doing that. And so it's just doing whatever needs to be done to drive revenue further, and by extension, development, because right now our revenue is driving development. So I think that's a positive sign. And it's also kind of cool to, for another reason to get in front of people, because people that are interested in your product, some will sign up for a demo, some will just sign up and, do their own thing, try and figure it out themselves. Some people, want their handheld a little more and want to pay for the luxury of not having to do it. And so now we offer that. And it'll be more time for me, but I think it'll be good insight as far as how to improve the product, especially as far as where people are having trouble and maybe don't want to do it themselves. And I think again, it's why not? So I think that's the right thing to do. We'll find out. You'll probably watch another video later on describing whether this is the right thing to do. So hold on to your hats. And the last thing that is good that came up is right before this video, actually, we had somebody sign up for one of our yearly subscriptions, which means that we got all the money for the subscription for the year up front today, which is awesome. And this is only a business model we've had since February of this year, so not too long. It took us a while to change it, but so that really helps a lot. And it was our most expensive plan, which is not a small chunk of money. So that is optimistic. It puts us on track to grow revenue this month. So hopefully I will have the ability to do the revenue milestone video this month, or at least maybe the next one. Who knows? And I look forward to that. So that's been our 24 months on the market, and more, I guess, particularly the last month. But yeah, we've made it through. We've gotten this far. We've grown. We're still here, and I expect to be here for another 2 years, at least. Thanks for watching, and have a great week.